The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. As you can see, those that are watching on YouTube, it is not the regular four. It is myself, Chris, alongside Decca, and Daryl has joined us tonight as well. Daryl, 2 weeks in a row, mate.
I know. Well, is it even 2 weeks? It's what, 5 days?
I know. I'm spoiling you.
You've been on more than Bestie has for the last year, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We are here to go through your regular weekly dose of all things Newcastle United. Boys, the players have just jetted off to play Benfica, a place where Newcastle fans love to go. A lot of them, I think social media over the last 24 hours has been flooded and inundated with fans jetting off for a few nights on the lash, as we could say, with a bonus of watching Newcastle in the mix as well. I mentioned this to you, Daryl, on the way through. Dan Ashworth has also travelled with the squad as well.
He has.
Sounds promising.
It does. You'd like to think that he's out there with a purpose, you know, to do the work with Eddie when they're not doing the training on the training field, that he's there as Eddie's go-to man and then working together to maybe get a deal or two over the line.
A football club being run how it should be, Tiger.
Well, I mean, you could probably ring him over Teams, and have the same conversation. But no, I suppose it's nice that he's there and part of it. And I think you just got more faith, haven't you? Like if you says, oh, the lads are going away to pre-season training, and Lee Charney's with them, and he's going to be in there, you'd be like, oh God, like you have no excitement or faith in whatever's going to be happening.
You would probably think Lee Charney was there to stop something from happening.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
rather than the other way around.
Yeah,
so being proactive.
Yes, you would hope be proactive. You hope that obviously him and Eddie will be discussing maybe who the next targets are or how close the current targets are that we're after and things. And it would be lovely if we could get someone else in. You know what I mean? I don't know. Are you nervous? I was going to ask you this. Like, are you nervous that obviously we haven't got any more in so far, or are you quite comfortable with the situation?
It's all about patience. Let's remember where the squad is right now compared to where it was at the start of last season is head and shoulders above. I honestly believe that. The players that have gone and left the club, whether that be sold or gone out on loan, they weren't first team starters really. You could argue possibly Isaac Hayden, but obviously he picked up that injury.
Yeah.
So he was straight out of that starting lineup there. The players which were brought in are players that get straight in your starting 11. So Botman has came straight in there. Target obviously had a fantastic season.
Are we going to see a keeper there? Chris, are we going to see a goalkeeper?
Well, we'll get on to the goalkeeper. Actually, we'll talk about the goalkeeper now. Behind the scenes, there is a podcast being arranged with myself and a goalkeeping expert when it comes to all things stats and things like that. So we're going to put Dubravka and Nick Pope head to head and see whose stats level up and see who should be starting goalkeeper.
Not to be missed.
And the expert isn't Bestie, no?
It's Mark. It's Mark. He's an expert in everything else, so we might as well put goalkeeping in there. Defensive headers. We'll never ever forget about the defensive headers.
One of the great.
But yeah, there's a few comments there coming in. I think we just need to be patient. Is business done yet? Definitely not. Far from it. I think we'll see two players come in, and that'll be players challenging for probably starting right wing. So starting 11 in the right wing, but challenging Callum Wilson.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It'll be no, not at all. No. I just ask questions, and try and ask them in a way as if I sound that I'm worried. But I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. No, I am. it makes you laugh a lot of the things that you see on Twitter and social media. I mean, some of them might just be Mackems. I don't know, but proper kicking off, almost saying that it's not good enough, and for being as rich as we are, it should be better, and all of this. But I think the more logical fan and the more fans, the appreciating fans know that it's a very long game that we're playing here. And you're on about like the squad being better than it was at the start of last season. It's not just about personnel being better. It's how well, how they're being run and how pre-season's been is just 10 times better than what it would have ever been. So I think overall, the entire club, the squad, the players, every single aspect is in a better place than it was at the start of last season. So
yeah, I agree. Is there any sort of position that makes you worry, Daryl? As in, we need cover and we can't start the season without.
I think Eddie is doing the right thing, and together with Dan Ashworth, they're looking for a right forward and somebody to come in to either challenge or to be his backup to Callum Wilson. I would like to think that we'll cover one of those before the season starts, and I know that's asking a lot because it's only a couple of weeks away now. But trust the process. We've heard that a few times, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm not panicking. I think whoever they bring in, it'll be the right person, it'll be the right character as well. That's been a massive thing in our recruitment, especially in the last, even you can go as far as back as last summer, but it's all about character, and we certainly saw that in January. We didn't go out and splash money on whoever. It was the right character to fit the mold and to gel with the squad. And just on that, I think that's why we see Lascelles remaining as captain, because you don't want to upset the morale and the harmony within the squad. And with Lascelles being effectively the pinnacle of that as captain, I think Eddie's been very smart about it and very coy. And we know that Lascelles won't be a first choice starter given the pool of defenders that we now have. But to have shipped him out, I think would have affected team morale. And I think we'll probably see the likes of a Shelvey, Trippier, who will be more than likely regular starters, will take that captain's armband. And you've got the option of Wilson as well, who wore it at Burnley on the last game of last season.
I've asked this question last week when Mark was on and Matty. So obviously when Trippier came in, and we're seeing Trippier getting the armband a lot, obviously, of course, because if I'm being honest, at the time when we signed Trippier, right, I feel like I've seen every single man, dog, cat, everything saying, "Oh, well, it'll be Trippier's next season." Were you in that boat at that point, or did you always think that Lascelles would still keep it?
No, I was with you. I would say I would have thought that Trippier would have been named by name club captain. But again, I understand why the decision's been made the way it has. And like we said, I think Trippier will probably get the armband most of the time when we're playing. And if Trippier's not available, then it'll just drop down to the likes of Shelvey or Wilson.
It's something which we've debated God knows how many times, how important is that captain role on the field, especially when you've got about 5 of them on the field at any point anyway.
Well, it was like when Alan Shearer was captain all the time, and rightfully so. But you had Gary Speed there, you had Robert Lee. That's just naming a couple at the top of my head. There's some absolutely huge characters there. Even Warren Barton. It doesn't have to just be one man. Do you know what I mean? And there's a number of players that I think, in terms of knowing you're on about coming out of the dressing room and you're in the tunnel and you're looking at who's with you. Do you know what I mean? There'll be certain players that aren't necessarily captain material, but you're still glad they're there. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has different attributes to play, and obviously, of course, we all know that Trippier will be probably the person that gets it. And if Lascelles does play a cup game or listen, he might play a league game because we might be in trouble. He'll be the guy that gets it then. But I don't think that matters necessarily. Do you know what I mean? Because Trippier's still going to be barking his orders. He's got the armband on.
Even Matt Ritchie was known for that. He didn't have the armband, but by Christ, he would kick you up the arse if you weren't doing your job.
Absolutely. Sorry, I went a bit left.
No, but it's what's the point rocking the boat?
Exactly.
By taking off yourselves.
Yeah. And also, it might really energy. Well, sure, I'm not saying he's not been energized before, but I mean, this will be a huge boost for him. I mean, when he knew the takeover was happening, the manager's coming in, we're signing the links of Trippier. He must have thought in the back of his head, bloody hell, if I'm not on it here, I could lose not just my position, but also the captaincy. Obviously, with him getting it again, you would hope he'd be in the house and thinking, fuck, I'm really, really lucky to captain this football club at the moment. And it might just,
Absolutely.
You know, it might just make him better.
It might just raise his game to
Yeah.
another level.
Yeah, and Lee Forster, who is a member of the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel, basically says there, I'll put it on screen, says Trippier, Burn, Wilson, they're all on-field captains. Lascelles is hugely popular around the club and dressing room, but the title of club captain is a token gesture.
It is to a degree, yeah, it is, yeah. It is. But good on him. All the best of him.
So if anybody does have any questions throughout the night, we'll be going for around about an hour. Send them our ways, and we'll go through as many as possible, like we have done right the way through the summer there. We'll jump through some now straight away. And this one is from Josh Stockton, who has also sent us a £10 donation. Thank you very much, Josh.
Cheers, Josh.
He says, hey lads, hope you're all well. Bit of a light-hearted question this week. Favorite pre-match meal? Is it at St. James's Park or elsewhere? He also says he's looking forward to coming on the channel at some point this season. Much love. Thanks very much, Josh. And like I said, I will be in touch. You deserve to come on at some point throughout the season to have a chat with us and go through.
He still has to donate even when he's on it, though. So when he's sitting here and have to go on his phone.
Just hand cash over, like notes.
£5 each, please.
We'll just get a piggyback. You just got to keep putting a quid in every time somebody wants to talk to us. But Darryl, I'm going to come to you first because you do a lot of away games throughout the season.
Yeah.
And during each away game, you like to feature in some sort of food, whether that be a popular place to go and have a snack or something. So let's go to you. What's your perfect day when it comes to pre-match meals or snacks?
I'll give you an example of when I go to Crystal Palace, and I've been to Crystal Palace about a handful of times now in the last 11 years. And the last few times I've been, it's been a case of getting the train down to London, and then I've taken the train across to East Croydon. And when you get to East Croydon, you get off the train, you go up onto the main road out the station, and you've got the old box park, which featured during the last World Cup. And then we'll go and get a fan reaction on BBC or whatever. And you would just when you have your pints an hour. And just next door to that is a Nando's, and I do like a Nando's. So I like to go to a Nando's.
I've just picked that up. All the things that you mentioned, Nando's.
That's just the example I'm giving for Crystal Palace.
You started describing that as if it was a hidden gem somewhere. And it ended with Nando's.
I
was expecting some sort of like Palace pie or something. I was expecting something.
I used to like to sample a pie, but then I got very disappointed by a run of pies. There's a run of pies at certain stadiums.
Dirty Darryl.
Darryl the dog.
And no, there's a couple of nice places now. There's a place called Humble Crumble, which do a nice pudding.
Okay,
that's a nice place to go to. They've got a little place in. Give them some advertising here.
So hang on, let me get this straight. So you go to an away game and you'll go and get dessert.
I will, yeah.
What a god! This is an unknown fan. Like I don't even think of food on an away day. I just need beer.
I got absolutely bladdered away to Aston Villa in the season we got relegated, right? And it was the worst experience of my life. And I'm glad I can't remember the game because the game was a pile of shit anyway. I take a bit of a different turn, a bit of an alternative way to do things.
You put in our nose. There's a comment in the app by Daniel that says, felt like I was on a journey through Narnia to end up at Nando's.
Unbelievable, Unbelievable.
But no, there's a nice pudding place in Borough Market or Spitalfields that I've been to. Hey, all over Instagram. You've got to try it. It's good stuff.
Why is always a food questions that set? Like, oh my god, pudding problems. Well, it's in Jim. What do you got? You won't eat, will you?
Not very often.
No.
And if I'm eating it, it's something en route that I can snack on. I'll never do Greg's before the match because the queue's way too big.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I had a Greg's today. I was slightly disappointed in my Greg's today.
What'd you have?
Fucking because I had cooked it on the sun.
Oh.
Like I swear to God.
Never sliced a pizza, like.
No, I had the sausage being melted.
Oh, boy, you gotta be careful.
Like as soon as it passes it, I just hold out. Ow! Like that's ridiculously hot. At the point where I just binned it, I was I'm never gonna eat that. Like.
It's tough work then, like
But yeah.
Well, if I'm in the Platinum Club, I might just get burgers. My dad always gets 2 cheeseburgers, 2 lots of chips every time. And you know what it is? Over the years I've been going, the quality of the burgers getting better and better, and the bun's better. Just like the club itself. Yeah, just like the club itself. Yeah, the bun is nicer than it used to be. It's beautiful, the bun now. Like, but yeah, that's what I always get. Always
like I said, I would probably just pick something up en route, and it's. Do you know what it is? it's not very often that I'll eat before the match. To be fair,
I know.
I'm only running around, and that's pretty why I'm absolutely smashed by 10 o'clock.
I do the odd burger van sometimes when I'm away if I'm desperate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I like them burgers because they're like melting your mouth, don't they? You know what I mean? They're just so.
I'll do like
so
a
fat.
like a Savoy dip or something.
No, Sav dip, man.
Savoy dip, or there's a pizza.
Yeah, peas pudding
in
and stuff.
Big Market,
Yeah.
Big Market in Granger Market.
Oh,
a
is
slice
that
of pizza.
2020.
I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called,
what's
but you
it
can
called?
just buy a slice of pizza. That's when you
Slice.
first go in on the left.
Aye.
Do you get peas pudding and stuffing on your dip?
The lot apart from English mustard?
Oh, you don't get English mustard.
Nah.
You get it dipped as well, eh?
Why, aye.
It's just
Double dip.
a bit messy for me, that. But it's nice, though.
Can't beat
It's a bit messy.
But yeah, moving on. Nando's comments absolutely threw me.
Aye, aye,
Absolutely threw me.
That was it. I was never expecting. If you had to press pause then and say, like, there was just no chance was I ever going to say Nando's. Honestly, like,
And if-
you were going to say that?
People do know. You might be able to answer this question. Is there anywhere left in town, like a Chinese restaurant that still do a buffet?
Oh, I didn't
I was
know.
looking at it. None.
There used to be one next to Q Park, you know, on that one-way system, like from St James's. Chinatown, you turn right, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was a one down the bottom of there. Used to always be. I don't know if it still is. Like,
You've used to have a few. There's a couple in Chinatown. There was Laos that used to do it, but
that was,
looking at that week, none.
that's mad. That, like,
None.
I used to love an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like, amazing.
Aye.
It's high in all sorts.
I don't have a good track record of them places.
So there's a shout there, but for Laos 202, but I'm sure Laos is closed now. That one.
202, yeah.
Is that not closed? The
I
one
don't know.
Just opposite the gate, but around the corner.
Yes, around the
Like when
corner.
you come down past
That's
the
what
back.
where
I
you
was
look,
thinking
isn't
of.
it?
That's what I
Aye.
was thinking of, but
I think it's
I
shut.
don't
I
remember
think it's
if
closed
there
down.
now.
But yeah. Right, moving on. Emil Craft.
Yes.
See, I've done that. Emil.
Yeah, aye.
Hey, well done, lad. Well
Aye.
done.
Been planning that one all week.
That was good.
Contract extension decker, extra year thrown on his contract, and some people are very happy with. Well, I'm saying very happy, but understand why this has happened because his performances
It's
last season.
It's just mad, isn't it? Football.
Some people are saying, "Well, that's worrying."
Well, I think again, what I don't think people are not, like sometimes look at the full picture of like we all know that Trippier is going to be the man in that position, right? So who is it you're going to be able to attract and tell them that well you're going to be second choice,
Second fiddle, aren't you?
okay, without shadow of a doubt, you're second fiddle. That's a tough sell to buy anyone in that regard. And Kraft's proven, and this is what I think is mad about football. You can speak about Joe Linton, of course, you could all day about this, but how a player can be like, I mean, dreading seeing his name on the team sheet, dreading it, knowing there's going to be a mistake, know he's going to get caught in behind, know that he's not going to be very good going forward at times. To then see what we've seen on Eddie Howe is just being transformed, like absolutely unbelievable. Especially towards the back end, he was outstanding. Yeah. So that 1 year extension makes perfect sense. And again, you're keeping the harmony in the squad. How obviously trusts him and knows what kind of player he is and what character he is. Kraft will know that Trippier is going to be ahead of him, but he'll be pushing him obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it works out great.
And Daryl, Fish and Rods, who is watching tonight, says a Swedish international who is happy to play number 2 to Trippier. It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. You know, as you said, Decker, you know, he was one of a few players last season who you just saw elevate themselves under Eddie's guidance. And to think that this squad, and this is why I'm not panicking like some people are, this squad is just they're in the, you know, they're getting towards the end of a full pre-season under Eddie. Do you imagine how fit they're going to be with a full pre-season under Eddie?
You just look at a player who Deck has mentioned as soon as we saw the team and the players arrive back at training. John Joe Shelby, he looks ripped, man. He looks proper lean.
Unbelievable.
I've never seen him ever look like that before.
I don't think he's ever. Maybe when he was 16, but he's never looked like that in his professional career that I can remember. Like I've seen.
And he's done a few interviews, and he said that I took myself away. Where did he go?
Turkey.
Was it Turkey?
Turkey, yeah.
He went to Turkey for a few weeks just to train.
Yeah.
Took a PT with him and just went for it. And
God, he looks.
I'm sure I see something where he said he'd lost 32% of, I don't know if it was body fat or something to do with his waistline. He's lost 32%.
He looks proper lean. He really does look
It's
really
unbelievable. The transformation.
Scott says 32 millimeters of fat lost,
That's the
apparently.
one. Yeah. That's.
I mean, he does look so lean.
It
though.
looks different. Like,
See, there was
face,
there was a photo I put in. That was one of the first times I'd seen him. He was just jumping in the air. But then there was one where I seen him turning and training literally, and he looked half the man. Like, do you know what I mean? And but again, that it proves the dedication that some people might look at this negatively, but he would never have that desire if Steve Bruce was still here and Ashley was still here and we were still the club just ticking along. Like, he would never. Having said that, he did get a personal trainer before, didn't he? And worked throughout the summer to come back stronger and that. But obviously, this time around, he's realised that I need to do everything I can to stay here as long as I can.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's the first step. And obviously, when he must have rocked up at pre-season day one, Eddie must have thought, Jesus Christ, where's half of you gone? Like,
I mean, I cannot wait to see how it's going to impact on his overall fitness as the season goes on, because he's been carrying that niggling calf injury for the last couple of years. It always seems to have cropped up and caused him an issue. So whether or not this change that he's made this summer, and see what sort of impact that has on his calf, and see if it rears its head again, or if he just, because like you say, he's got that competition now as well. He knows he'll probably have to be fighting Bruno for a starting position. Yeah,
which is tough work because he's the greatest. It's tough work. Like.
And Dan Wittens, something which we mentioned before, he says Shelvey needs motivating. How encouraging him rather than Bruce telling him he's first 11, no matter what, is clearly good for him.
It will be, and also I thought. Again, this is what makes you laugh, isn't it? With people's opinion. You go back to when Eddie Howe come in here, and everyone was saying, Shelvey will be the first out the door. He won't be wanting to train twice a day. He won't want me to do this. And then within about 2 weeks or so, or whatever, Howe was like, listen, like, Shelvey's unreal, man. He does things with the ball that no one can do that we have. And most of us knew that. But we understood that, of course, he couldn't maybe track back as well as he could. People used to take a deep breath in every time he went to ground for the tackle, like just worrying about an out. And I hope we see the John Joe that I've always thought was in there. I appreciate we don't say it all the time, but and as Darryl says, the competition for his position is huge, isn't it? And I think he'll know that as well, of course.
Do you think we will actively be looking for another centre midfielder, Darryl?
No, I don't think we will. So
do you think, if I change the question, do you think if an opportunity arrives to sign a player of a high standard quality, because once again, the name of Paqueta just will not leave. There's a few comments tonight about him. Apparently, Arsenal not interested in him any longer. If he becomes available, and rumour has it that they're all looking at selling him, do the club make a move?
I think they would, but I don't think they would see him as a central midfielder. I think they would try and, you look at the versatility that we've got in the squad and amongst the group that we have. Paul Dummett is an example. Even though you don't like his name mentioned, he's a centre back and left back effectively. Kraft, we've seen, can play at centre back if required. Not that he will, because our pool's bigger now. But that midfield three as well. Joe Linton's now, he's the midfield enforcer, but he's also been used up front by Eddie in the latter half of the end of the last season, and maybe even a couple of times during pre-season. So there's versatility in there, and I think if we did sign Paqueta, then he might be that solution on the right wing as well.
Well, for me, I'm not sure, because I don't know, because I think, didn't Howe say that if we can't strengthen in maybe the area that we want, but we know we can spend money in maybe an area where we're stocked, but if the quality's good enough, we'll do it. That screams that transfer to me anyway. I don't think we necessarily need it, but then again, that's a stupid thing to say when you think of the quality that he has, right? You always need
strength in any position.
I know,
you're going to take it on.
Exactly. I just don't. The reason why perhaps not, if Arsenal have said they're not involved and there's nobody else involved, there's no panic here, there's no reason to get involved in any war because there's no war there, right? So I don't know if they'll wait until the very last minute to maybe try, or they'll leave it alone completely and maybe get him in January, or see how this goes and then maybe go for him in the window. Because I honestly think if we can't get a striker in, I'm more inclined to think we'll get one more in, which will be a right winger. And I think we'll deal with Wilson and Wood until January, and then maybe get someone.
I agree with you there, but I think we might try and push for a loan signing in one of those positions, whichever one we don't make.
Fair comment. Fair comment. Yeah. Fair comment.
But yeah,
the thing that worries me about looking at a loan position, especially striker, how many decent strikers are available for loan? You can't buy one. Never mind, get one on loan.
That's it. It's
100%. Whoever you're going to get is literally going to be third choice, right? It is going to be, because if something happened, the thing is, you have to have a third choice, like, because I know we've let Gale go, and I'm been fantastic for the time he's been here, to be fair. But that had to happen. I mean, we've getting rid of him, and that's great news, really. But I would be worried if it was just Wilson and Wood for the remainder of the season, and we didn't even get anyone in January. That because I think that would come back to bite with, like, to be honest.
Just to go back to Paqueta there, right? The interesting thing that I'm thinking of, and I would have to find this out, or maybe somebody might be able to tell me, is if he's now in the last year of his contract, then come January, he'll be able to start negotiating with clubs for next summer anyway. And if we're still in the picture by then we'll have a chance of getting him for nothing, potentially.
That's obviously another reason why Leon's probably desperate. Well, not desperate, sorry, but willing to listen.
Yeah.
Because
apparently the price tags dropped down to 35 mil now. It seems like a small bit of business for 35 million.
It does, especially because they won't be able to drive the price up now, especially if there's no interest from anybody else, like of your Arsenal. If they're not interested, then it's almost like.
Do you think it's one way Newcastle probably just sit on this now?
I think so. I really do. Because I think, again, going back to what House said, is that we're going to go for the people that, or the areas of the field that we want. Mm-hmm. But if we can't get them, we'll then maybe look at the quality that's in areas we don't really need. And obviously that would be one of them. Maybe the competition then in that area.
Well, if we just go through it now, you're starting 3 last season with Shelby, Bruno, and Joelinton.
Yeah.
You've got Willock there as well. You've got Longstaff that was getting quite a few minutes under his belt towards the end of the season as well. So there's 5. You've got Matty, who's going out on loan. Well, looks like he's going to be going out on loan again. So you've got 5 there that comfortably in a starting 11, you would say, the bottom half of the Premier League table. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to have to look at pushing one of them out the door? Let's say we'll go in the last week of the transfer window, right? And the club, right, we're not going to bring a striker in. We're not going to get a right winger in that we want. We've got this bit of kitty. Yeah. We've got this money in the bank. Do they then say, right, we'll aim for Paqueta, but we'll have to move somebody on? Who goes?
I'm glad it's not my decision.
I don't think Howe would do it then. I don't think Howe would want to get
basically forced.
Because to be fair, if we look at them numbers, then players you're seeing, it's going to be shown, right? In my eyes, I mean,
I know
it's not going to be Willock, it's not going to be Bruno, Joelinton, blah blah blah. And I just don't think if that was kind of the ultimatum, I think Eddie would go, right, we'll just keep the money then. And we'll
to be fair, there's a few comments here. Paqueta's contract doesn't end next year. Right. He did sign not long ago to 2025.
Oh, well,
he's
that's
still got a few years under his belt.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's a funny one because it's not that I don't want him at all. And I know he's a great player and all the rest of it. It's just the area I just don't feel is as important. Whereas if we went to spend 35 on a striker, you know,
it's right. For me, it's bottom of the list, it's bottom of the pile. That centre midfield position.
Yeah,
it really is.
I know that defense now as well. Sorry, we've done defense. Defense is covered now. So
yeah.
I think once again, defense wasn't a huge issue either. When you look at the likes of the centre backs that were available, I don't think it was a massive issue. But we've strengthened massively. It's just like we were saying, that midfield, yes, it can be strengthened, of course, and this is exactly what we've done with Botman. Could have gone into next season without him, probably. We could have with Fabian Shaw there, Dan Burn there, Lascelles, Fernandez there. So you've got 4 centre backs there, and like you said, Dummett can fill in there, Emil Kraft can fill in there if needs be. But similar to that midfield position, do we have to strengthen? Probably not. But the opportunity came where we've got a decent young talent there that he's looked decent in pre-season. He's only featured not a huge amount of time, but what I've seen, he looks unbelievably comfortable on the ball as well.
He does, doesn't he? And even then, we're quite fortunate that he doesn't have to be featured as part of the 25-man squad either. So we can keep hold of him as long as possible.
Well, because of age.
Because of age, yeah. So he doesn't have to feature as part of the 20. He doesn't have to be registered with the 25-man squad. So, you know, you've got people saying, well, we need to get him loaned out if he's not going to stay. We can afford to let him stay until we've at least played the first round of the League Cup. And the loan window will still be open if we want to send him down to the Championship.
Who are you talking about now?
Anderson.
Oh, Anderson. You moved on to Anderson?
I just moved on to Anderson.
All right, okay.
Who are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about Botman. I see you Tanwood.
Oh, no. No, sorry.
So Anderson, right, okay.
Yeah. So the ice of Anderson doesn't have to feature. So there's an.
He's looked good now, hasn't he? Yeah. He's looked good. He's looked really good. Him. But I think going back to Botman, I think you can see that they've wanted him since January, and they've never given up, have they? They've constantly kept at him, and he could be like what Company was for City. Like, I feel as if he's the player that they've getting in, and he is going to be the one that they'll be with for years. Is the plan? Years, all of it. Because obviously Trippier, as much as we know how good he is, he's on the 30 on the wrong side almost. So I think that Botman's going to be the player if all goes well, of course, it could go wrong. Like obviously, not always happens, but if he can be what people think he can be, I just rumor he's the next Van Dijk and all this type of stuff. And
I'd seen that,
he just looks so comfortable on the ball, but he's so big, isn't he? Like he's an absolute monster. Like,
do you know there's a slight comparison to be made here, and if you remember back pre-Bruce, and you had we were playing a back three at the time, and it was Lascelles in the middle, and you had Shea on the right and Lejeune on the left. Mm. We've now got 2 ball playing centre halves.
We've spoke about this a lot. Yeah, a lot.
So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how we go on this season with them 2 playing there. Like.
I just think it was funny. I'm sure Craig Hope put this on as well. Actually, there was a tweet. We played a pre-season friendly, and the formation was different. And his tweet was, "I'm very surprised to see Newcastle go away from the formation that was so successful last season." I'm thinking, hang on a second. A football club or football team, you can have more than one formation.
Of course, yeah.
Like how might be trialing this to think, okay, like there'll be certain games where that might work better. You can't just have one system. I mean, you can if you're elite.
Yeah.
Like Man City, you don't care who the hell they're playing. They just play that way, and that's the end of it. But I just thought it was such a daft comment that. Like you can have 2 or 3 formations because personnel changes. Of course you do. In game, you might have to change something.
It's intelligent to have
it's mad, that,
the ability to change and react to what's going on.
And then pre-season's the perfect time to test it because he might test it with United actually, well, haven't got the personnel for this or whatever. I don't know. But like, it's just a really daft comment that was, I thought. But anyway, sorry.
And so what we started talking about before we went live, everybody, was that Burnley game. So the behind closed doors to Burnley.
We played them 7 times in 1 a day.
I think we played them 7 times in minus 12 minutes or something. I'm not sure anybody knows how that worked or what actually happened. I think our match review made a lot more sense than Burnley's because Jesus Christ, I tried to read theirs and theirs was even more complicated than how we tried to explain it. So Daryl, tell us what you think happened.
I've tried to explain this to somebody on Sunday, and I was like, hang on, and I had to get my phone out and look on .com and go through it that way and try and figure it all out. So I think what's happened is 2 side-by-side pitches, 2 separate 11s for each club. The 2 Burnley 11s have stayed on their respective pitches, and we've swapped. And I still can't work it out in my head. However, I know how we've ended up with 2 lots of 45, so like 4 in total. But we've moved around and Burnley haven't. And then there's been subs and whatnot made in between of all that. But it's like trying to, I don't know, it's like trying to perform open heart surgery, trying to figure it all out. I just know that we've won them all.
I've obviously seen the highlights of all the goals, and obviously you could tell that. You could tell it was a pre-season game. Like you could tell, couldn't you? But hey. It's all minutes, all fitness. I thought Fraser looked pretty sharp there, and
I was just about to say every clip I saw was just Fraser just running through the middle.
I think Miggy's looked really sharp in pre-season, to be honest.
That kick that you don't know where his head.
Oh yes,
I can't remember who was through. Wilson maybe Willock. It's Wilson or Willock.
Anderson won a penalty
that he missed. Beautiful. How he won that?
Dancing.
Really was. Yeah.
Do you think he's got a part to play next season?
I think he has in the very early part of the season. And I think they'll make a decision before the loan window for the championship shuts. And I think that's his opportunity. I think he can force his way into Eddie's plans depending on what we do in the transfer market. If we're able to bring somebody in to fill that right wing role, then fair enough. Then he'll probably go on loan. If we don't, then it's up to him to prove to Eddie and the rest of the coaching team that he's an option and he should be taken seriously. Like I say, so he's got that first. I would say he's probably got until early September, which gives you about 4 or 5 games, including the League Cup game, to really make an impact. And it's down to him. And for me, I hope he does it. I hope he does make them think really hard about it.
That's going to be tough for him, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
and we all know that obviously Eddie clearly likes him. There's no question of that, no doubt. And there's definitely a player in there. I just think it's just difficult, isn't it? It's just tough to see him.
The only time we're going to see it is if he gets that chance, and because of the players that are around the squad at the moment,
just not going to happen, is it?
Yeah,
I can't imagine rocking the first game of the season again. If I wasn't starting, it's just you'd be like, everyone would be like, eh. I'm not saying there'd be a negative towards it, but they'd be shocked, right?
Maybe not starting, but you could see a few cameo roles where he comes on for the last 15, 20.
Yeah,
depending on score.
And what can he do? Yeah.
Do you think we've got a preconception about this because of the, let's say, lack of success we've had with academy products recently?
I don't necessarily. I don't think that, to be fair, because I'm not fixated on the academy as what a lot of people are, and demanding that players come through the academy. It's very rare that you will see top class players coming through the academy and staying at that club. Yes, you've got the odd ones like Phil Foden and things like that, but how often do you physically see it, and how successful does it become? Yes, your luck will be in at some point, and you will get a decent talent coming through. If Anderson is that player, we yet to find out. He still was he 19? 19.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's heading in the right direction with him. He's been training with the first team for a while now.
I'm just pleased because Eddie said that he would look at him in pre-season, and he's made good on his promise to give him a chance, and he's had that opportunity in pre-season.
Well, Fish and Rod's great point. He says we'll have to remember that there's 5 substitutes as well this season, which makes Anderson's chances go that little bit higher in regards to get minutes on the field.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Do you think that we've got the quality to on the bench now to be using all 5 subs there? Or do you think that that's just going to work in the hands of the likes of Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea?
We haven't got the greatest of squads, right? We haven't, you know what I mean? But I still think it helps every team. But I have to be honest and say the top 2, 3, of course, are going to benefit because they've got better players, got better depth. So of course, you know, if them can really scrape the barrel and they're still bringing on absolute quality, whereas of course we wouldn't be. But I do agree with the comment though that it can help him obviously if there's 5 subs. And you know what it is that the bits that you've seen of him, I do like what I see a lot, and maybe it's just that I've always been a bit awful here, like, but I just always think confidence is a huge thing. I always feel, especially with a young lad, right? And I just feel that if he comes on in a home game or whatever and gives the ball away a few times or gets caught in possession, I just feel the fans will be like, oh, I thought he's no good. He's not up for this level. He's good, but he's not that good. And people can write you off quick. And with Joe Lintons and your Crafts are just too, you know, people can get written off very, very fast. And I worry that if he didn't come on and immediately hit the ground running, that could really go against him.
We'll get right behind him, and we'll also be his biggest critic.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, likewise, I've just said that you could come on in the last 10 minutes and have an absolute worldie, and we think, right, this is it, next Messi here. Like, this kid's the best. And
sell Manu for 50 million.
Starting next week, you know, he's had a great 10 minutes. He should be starting.
I should be starting. There just isn't just a balance. Sometimes it's either you're absolutely dog shit and he's not good enough, or he's going to be amazing. But you know, I don't know. But I think going back to what Darryl said, it is nice that Howe said, listen, I'm going to have a look at him pre-season. He clearly is. And I'm hoping, I'd love to see him play the home games, you know, that are coming up, which he probably will actually. Yeah. The 2 home games back to back. If you could feature in them a bit, that would be a great taste for him as well, I think, being at home. And that'd be good.
So the countdown for the season does actually happen now, because you've got Benfica coming up on Wednesday, is it?
Tomorrow night.
Is it tomorrow night? So Tuesday night. A few people asked if there's any streams available. I think there are some South American channels which are showing them. And I think Benfica TV or whether they're showing it as well.
Via subscription, I think I've read somewhere.
It'll be on an IPTV somewhere. You'll catch it somewhere. Of course you will. I couldn't tell you last time I missed a game, to be fair. But it's always available somewhere, always. But after that game against Benfica, straight back home for the matches on Friday and Saturday. So on Friday it is Atlanta, and on Saturday it's Bilbao. Are you going to see 2 completely different teams in that one, or do you think it's just going to be a mixture of subs left, right, and centre throughout both of the games?
I think it'll
45 minutes each.
I think it'll be kept as 2 separate games, but like, so say whoever's on the bench on Friday night and doesn't come on will probably feature from the start on the Saturday, and sort of like vice versa and things like that. And say somebody comes on and makes 5 or 10 minute cameo at the end, then they might feature again the following day.
Do you think at some point there we will see what Eddie Howe's preferred starting 11 is?
Yeah, I think probably. I think
you normally get at that last pre-season game.
So I think every single player will play both games of some description. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but I definitely think both will play. But I think the Saturday one is where I think you'll start with what he thinks is he's starting. Strongest. I think. Full strength. Yeah, I do. Injury or whatever may happen, of course. But I think Saturday will be the one where you'll start with what he thinks is ready to go. Like,
I was looking today because I was going to get some last minute tickets. I was debating taking the boys to the match, to the Saturday one against Bilbao, but cost wise just too much. 40 quid for me and the two kids. But as I was looking, just level 7 available now, and
Yeah.
for a pre-season fixture, that
been
is
a long time.
mental.
I couldn't even tell you the last time we saw level 7 on a
Well,
pre-season
it's probably going to
fixture.
be. It's got to be the biggest pre-season friendly attendance. I mean, up and down the country. I'm not saying ever, but certainly in recent memory, right? There's no one going to get that much.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyway. I can't think so. I mean, I'm
If-
going Friday night as well, but just myself on that one,
Yeah.
my mate, and then Saturday obviously I'm taking the kids and that. But it's it's just you go back to the queue for tickets online, you go back to season tickets, and you think of the cost of living crisis and just how expensive everything is these days, and everyone still wants to go and watch such more than ever now, of course, due to the fact that there's a feel good factor there and there's a belief there. But yeah, it is amazing. Like to hear level 7 had to be open is pretty incredible.
It's absolutely crazy. It's phenomenal when you think about it. And we've had this chat a few times on this one, Daryl, about the demand for tickets and people saying that we should be leaving St James's Park or extending St James's Park as soon as we possibly can. Do you think people have taken a bit of a step back with that now? Because there are tickets available still for not just pre-season, but I think they go on general sale. The Forest one's tomorrow morning, I think. Is that right? It's at some point this week, isn't it? Some point this week.
It is.
Some point this week, the Forest tickets go on sale. It will be a sellout. But saying that, do you think that the demand is high in regards to demand to leave St James's Park?
In terms of leaving, I think at the moment, in a personal sense, I wouldn't want to move. And I think you go back and you hear what my dad had to say early on is, we can't leave St James's, it's our home, it's where our hearts live and all that sort of thing. And I know, and I've seen plenty of comments on social media that, we should be moving, there's too much demand for tickets and we should be building a bigger stadium, etc., etc. But, in terms of growth, we'll have to maximise with what we've got at the minute. And I think if they do plan on doing something, it'll be a good few years down the line first before we even think about anything, whether it's moving or whether it's a full-scale redevelopment. So for me, no, I think we're fine as we are for now. You've got to give it a couple of seasons to gauge response, because if, God forbid, anything, and it was to tail off, anything was to happen to sort of like slow the momentum or stop the momentum in whatever way.
And I don't think it's even necessarily a relegation battle. No. I think that's just like an average season and finishing
absolutely
9th, 10th, 11th. Yeah. I think that the demand will probably drop for tickets.
Well, it's good. I think that's what's going to be. Like, I mean, I don't want to be negative, but I think I was watching Eddie Howe and he got asked that question, like, "Oh, is Europe your aim?" And I'm thinking, bloody hell, like, what a question to ask him. As if he's going to go, of course, I. And obviously he says, like, I'm not going to display any personal targets that we've got. We just want to do the best we can.
He handled that question.
He did. He handles everything well, doesn't he? He's an incredible in front of the camera. I honestly don't think there's many better than him in terms of the way he can articulate himself and the way that he can field any question. He does it so well. Night and day compared to what we've been dealing with previously. But sorry, to go back to the question. I think that there is a demand there, of course, but obviously the next season, you're right in what you say. Like, if we did finish 10, 11, 12, say, people wouldn't be happy with that. Now, obviously, the people that have got season tickets, don't get us wrong, I'm not going to get rid of them. I'm not saying that, but the demand to then go the season after might be like, well, do you know what I mean? I'm not as hot. Whereas if we did finish in Europe, just say we did, that queue all of a sudden gets longer, right? And it's just, and that's quite an embarrassing need or time scale. That just given one season, but we know what it's like, right? It can be very hot and cold at times, and there is going to be times this season where we're going to go through a bad one, but just all right. And like, some people will handle it better than others. Twitter will not handle it. I know that for a fact, but we will though around this table. We'll be all right.
Yeah, of course we will. It's we're so used to shitty seasons, and I think it's going to take a lot for momentum to drop from the way we're going at the moment. I think it's going to be far from that. I really do, and I think we've sat around here before and said that why can't we challenge for one of those European spots? If we get it, fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
If we're challenging for it, fantastic. If we don't get it, that's fine. That's fine. You go again next season.
It is. I'm honestly looking at the cups, and I honestly think if we can get a couple of home draws, all of them home draws would be nice. I think we'll beat anyone, because I just feel I always go back to that Arsenal game. That to me, that was the bar for me of like, this is what it can be like.
Mm.
So if we can create that atmosphere, that the performance, of course, was absolutely amazing, but the intensity of the performance, us as fans, the way that it was, and I'm not saying you're ever going to be able to create a display as good as that every week, but if you can just create that atmosphere and you can really go far, like, and I feel in a cup we could really attack one.
I think we'll probably get a little flavour of that this week as well, because I know Wolf Flags have said they've got displays ready for all three of the next.
They've been back
home
inside
games.
St James's Park as
I've
well,
seen
so
that
they've been
pictures,
back
yeah.
grafting with the flag displays. The safe stand seating is in level 7 now as well. That looks all but done. So and I've seen a few more photos of concourses as well. The family,
I
family,
saw that one today.
the family area had.
It's lovely with the flags being there pre-season, because there'll be a lot of fans that have never been or haven't got the opportunity to experience that.
It's more
going
of
to
a
get a
family
bit
feel,
of a taste, right? Of course it is. Absolutely. I mean, God, I'm taking my 2 bairns and both of them might want to leave after 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I'm not big on like than gone themselves, but yeah, like the little bairn, but for him to have the opportunity to see what the flags are like and stuff, it's lovely, and loads of people's going to experience that.
Yeah, I took my 2 to the NUFC women's game as well, and Wolf Flags were there.
Oh, right,
my 2 were buzzing with a flag, absolutely buzzing off the tits away. Just to wave a flag.
It's the future generation, isn't it? You know, it's the future generation, and obviously and
we were on the brink of losing that generation.
Well, exactly, yeah, 100%.
Because we've spoke God knows how many times about when we're walking around our like neck of the woods in South Shields, and yes, you'll see the split of Newcastle shirts, you'll see Sunderland shirts, you even see loads of South Shields shirts these days.
That's right, yeah.
But then you are getting Chelsea shirts, Man City shirts, Liverpool, Arsenal, a lot of them, and you're thinking, when I was like growing up, it's not very often you would see any of the shirts apart from Newcastle and Sunderland, neck of the woods. You'll get the odd one.
Yeah.
That would have one of the Man U most likely, or Arsenal.
Probably. Yeah, it was rare though. It was very rare.
And now,
it was rare.
Like I take the boys. Well, I was taking the boys to football on a Saturday, and there's probably about 30 kids in there. And I swear to God, majority of them now Newcastle shirts, but there was still scattered like Man City. And I'm like listening out for accents. Me like says dad from like is he like from Manchester? Is he dad Scouser? Whatever. Just Geordie. Born and bred South Shields. Got the kid in a Man City shirt. What are you doing, man?
I have seen more Newcastle though than ever. People are walking around with them on, because it just feels like it's been ignited again, doesn't it? That's what it feels like. And
of course it does, yeah. Of course it does. I'm looking forward to my mates at Sunderland fans whose kids are probably going to end up supporting Newcastle.
I was speaking to someone the other day actually in his bin. He's a Sunderland fan, his Baines, Newcastle. He's like, well, it's just
best.
This is what can I do? I'm trying, but I'm not winning the argument.
It's the best. There are a few comments here about Newcastle's next. I'm not sure what his class is. He's CEO, board member. What is he?
Oh yeah,
Darren Eels.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here like some other podcast and YouTube channel and pretend I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these sort of roles. I'm not willing to sit here and read off a Wikipedia page to tell him what he's done in his previous roles at previous clubs. I know as much as what you do. Hopefully, at some point in the next couple of weeks, we can get somebody on board who knows what they're talking about. Maybe a fan from Atlanta, maybe to come and have a chat about this role, because personally, I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to it, so I'm not going to pretend to blag my way through it.
None of we do, because we haven't had one for about 10 years. So it's
he
crazy.
definitely seems more marketing,
He's
more
marketing.
fan orientated,
a lot of commercial stuff,
commercial side of the game, which I think I said last week is, of course, Dan Ashworth is there, but he kind of do every single. You know, every single part of the pie. Like, you know, he needs
Dan
people.
Ashworth is the footballing point of view.
Yes,
this guy looks like commercial side of things,
absolutely,
basically showcasing Newcastle United.
Yeah, run the brand and all the rest of it.
If you're even just reading into a little bit of his history, you find that he was at Tottenham when they started to put their plans together for the new stadium, and you know, a lot of the figures that you see, especially if you look at like Swiss Ramble and that on Twitter, and he talks about club finances and he'll give a league comparison. And this is the sort of stuff that we were talking about when we were looking at our financial results, and you would do massive threads on everything, and then you would compare it to their clubs, and you would see the way Tottenham's revenue just went from less than what we had when Mike Ashley took over, and all of a sudden it's like just gone.
Well, the roof.
It was in the same. It was in them 10 years with Ashley, wasn't it? It was how them did start below us and then just absolutely catapulted and were away.
And he seems to have been there for a period of time in that when it was just going through the roof. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And I think, as we've just said there, I think commercially, I think he's probably going to be a massive key to our commercial growth.
Yeah, it goes. It's another chair at the desk, isn't it? It's another one around that table. That's going to bring more opportunities. Newcastle United, of course, it is. And we need these brands coming in. We need the club to be more well known across the globe, because that's how you attract sponsors. That's how you're going to get more money to play with. And when it comes to financial fair play, it has to be done. It really does. Something else which happened today as well. The club tweeted, and I'll read out. So, Newcastle United players and staff have been visited by sport and performance expert Sir Dave Brailsford during our pre-season training camp. Sir Dave was invited to the team hotel to address the group as he shared his renowned approach to sport and culture, mindset, and performance. I think we have tried this at one point before. I can't remember somebody Black, he might have been called.
Oh, Steve Black.
Is that who it was? Was he something very similar to that?
He was a lot about psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was.
I remember his name. Did he have some sort of role at the?
He had been involved. I think. Yeah,
he
had been involved with the Falcons and a few other clubs as well. And yeah.
So it looks like.
So
it looks like Eddie Howe is trying everything. He really is, and
he's massive on the mindset, isn't he?
Yeah.
The mindset and the culture and the sort of psychology of the game, or not just the game, but like in terms of, it's almost like you as a person, isn't it? And like you believing in yourself and all the rest of it type of stuff, and
dealing with the pressures of being a professional athlete as well. It's like, this is the guy that's worked with some of the top cyclists in this country that this country has ever produced, and been massively successful at that. So I don't think we'll necessarily be able to pinpoint anything that happens this season to this moment where,
no, of course not.
It's because Dave Brailsford came in and talked to them, but just the fact that they've done it is just another sign of the professionalism that we're now going to see going forward.
It's just another thing that Eddie Howe brings, isn't it? To even have that thought process of
sports science element, isn't it?
Of that, you know what I mean? And like as I've said before, like I'll go back to what Bruce used to always say is, I've been doing this game for X amount of years. I've managed this amount of games. It was always that he knew best and no one else did. He wouldn't dream of getting someone in to even talk to his players in that kind of regard.
Basically taking the spotlight away from himself.
He just wouldn't do that. He wouldn't even have the thought process of even thinking of that. You know what I mean? And obviously, like probably also, I mean, I know I've been into seminars like that through work and stuff where they'll get someone that comes in and speaks, and you know what it is.
It's like life coaches that
come
in,
like how it works. And I guarantee you, like, you know, like John and that, I'll probably be sitting there going, I can't wait for this to finish. Probably Maxie would as well. There will be some players that'll hit harder than others, but that's life. It's not going to hit every single 40 men that's sitting there. But if it hits 2 or 3 of them or 4 of them, then it's been worth the investment, right? You know, it's just.
I was finding it was quite entertaining, to be fair.
Oh, it depends on who you get.
Well, I've had 2 at my place. One of them was absolutely shocking, to be fair. Could tell they were just there to get a bit of a pay deal out of it. And the second one was a fella, I can't remember his name exactly, but he was fantastic. This fella that came on, it was really, really good.
I had some. It was a woman swimmer. No, she was a hockey team. She played for England hockey team. She was excellent. Like she was explaining like being a team captain and winning the World Cup, or whatever it was. For
England. No, they can work. It's good. Like, some of them you can feel you leave that session, you're absolutely buzzing.
You do.
Smash the world.
You have a different mindset.
Yeah, of course.
For about a day. But no, I'm just kidding.
So you sit back at your desk. 20 emails. Fuck. One of the things I want to end on, and I will end on this one, Decker, is your favorite person to talk about. So Alan St. Maximin, rumors over the last 48 hours that Chelsea and Spurs are interested in Alan St. Maximin. Do you see him leaving?
I don't know, not at all. No, like not even. No. Well, I did see that when Andy Cole left now. Like, but
is that because would probably price them out of the market, these clubs, or do you think they're just? Do you think Saint is settled here? Do you think Saint is happy and wants to be a part of this project, or do you think Saint would see the lights of London and thinking that's an easy step up? That
I think we've got a year of him being absolutely fine here. I feel that way. And I think let's be very clear. If what happened off the field didn't happen, he'd be gone. He would have just made sure that a move likes to Chelsea or Tottenham, whoever it was, right, that would have happened. But I definitely feel that he comes out very often, and people seem to miss this, but he does say an awful lot that he loves the fans and he loves.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he
every
says
single
that,
opportunity he gets.
Every opportunity he gets, he says that, and obviously he'll know the environment and the culture that he's in now is so different. And he'll believe that. Because, and listen, there's another thing he gets criticised for. He gets criticised for wanting to be the very best he can be and play at in the best level that he can play at. That seems to be a criticism for some reason. But I think he believes that can happen here. And when he sees it, like Bruno coming in and the rest, and all the rest of them may be thinking 100%, 100% we can. The other point I'll make is if Spurs and Chelsea are interested in him, then why would we want to sell a player that teams like that are interested in? Surely we are wanting to buy players that Chelsea want to buy. Because we want to try and become them. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I'm just defending them.
We can do to them what other clubs are trying to do to us, and we can just say, well, price.
Well, exactly. We don't need the money. And of course, we can price them out with a move. Yeah. But I just generally think it could just be paper talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they are interested, then fair enough. Great, right? You're probably interested in Bruno as well because he's amazing. Like you're probably interested in whoever. You know, there'll be loads of players they're interested in. But I just think at the moment where we are, we're in a position where we can just go, no, it's not for sale. He ain't got anyway. And I don't think the player will force it either.
He's taking his ball game on holiday.
Mark will be thrilled.
Yeah. You see that tweet?
Did Wilson get done for speeding or something? Was that just a total fake thing I seen? I was walking, I came on me watch. Wilson had been done for speeding or something. Got a speeding fine or something.
I hadn't seen that.
No, okay. I might be wrong. Someone probably say it.
Maybe Braille's photos.
I was on me watching. I was walking.
Was he on a bike?
I was walking up the road, and it flashed up. And I could be wrong that, but no, he's took his ball game away, and so you know.
Yeah, he's took his ball game away. Helios is heading to Portugal.
What even is that game?
I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah. I've
tried reading on the website. It tries to give you an explanation as to what it is, and I don't.
Was it like trying to explain how we played Burnley on Saturday?
Probably, yeah.
Is it like character based or something, or is it more just numbers like poker, or is it like you've got like I don't know some sort of character?
It looks a bit like
that character can be
like
that character.
A posh top trumps.
Oh, okay.
Why do I feel like it's really like some sort of Dungeons and
Dragons?
That's what I was meaning. Yeah.
So I was having this. I'm going completely off topic here, but just to wrap this one up, we were talking about board games yesterday, and remember the game where you used to put the video in, and you used to like press play on the video and stop playing the board game as well.
Yeah. We were talking about it work as well. I couldn't remember that because I was talking about Nightmare, which was completely different.
It was Nightmare, not where you used to press the video though.
No, but Nightmare was on the TV. They used to wear a helmet and they used to go move 2 steps forward,
right, and the floor used to fall.
Yes, right, and then that's when someone mentioned, "Oh, did you not remember that game?" Used to put in, well, VHS.
Somebody watching or listening will know exactly. Atmosphere. There you
Atmosphere.
Go. Scott straight in there. So you used to be playing, and all of a sudden, like your door character is going to go stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I used to shit my pants playing that game.
Yeah, that was back in how I do.
I was back in the early 90s.
I think what we should do, we should buy that game and we should do a podcast and play it for the first time. Like literally just open the box and try and play. Mark would love that.
What atmosphere? Oh, Helios.
Helios.
Is
it
I don't think you can get a hold of it.
Oh, you couldn't even buy it?
Nah.
Oh, really?
So popular.
How the fuck does people know how to play it if they get and buy it?
So apparently he had an event or something because I saw somebody on Twitter, just a Newcastle United fan, had become some sort of member for it because I think you get extra stuff if you're a member, and Saint hosts these events quite often.
Well, I've seen that because he was getting around because it was cold
and stuff.
I have to sign up then, don't I?
Because mate, he drops the game off and he just gives you like a goodie bag and there might be like 20 grand in it there. Like it's mental.
I'll have to sign up.
Absolutely mental.
Yeah. I'm his biggest fan. I deserve one of these games. Like
you'd shit yourself. He came to your front door with
absolutely shit myself.
The thing is, right, that like, I know we're messing on here. The board game doesn't bother me whatsoever. No. The only time it's ever bothered me is when we're encouraging fans to take Helios signs into St. James's Park. That was weird. I didn't like that crossover. You've got your game. That's fine.
He can be the face of it.
But then those people with banners, the Helios in St. James's Park.
No.
Like, and I didn't like that.
Didn't like that bit. I agree with that. Yeah. No. I mean, I'll date if I meet him. Like, no, I agree. No, I definitely not. No, I don't quite get that at all. That's just crossing a line that doesn't need to be in crossed at all. But I would, if anyone's got a game, send it in, will I? I'll give you a back. I just want to see what it looks like and what you actually do.
Just bring it. Just come with it.
I come with it.
We'll have a chat with you. And we'll try and explain what the hell it is. But yeah, anything that you would like to add before we end this one?
Not that I can think of.
No, I don't think so. No.
I think we'll cover that quite well for nothing really happening once again.
Well, we did sit down and before we started and thought, have I got enough to talk about? But somehow it's just easy once you start, isn't it? I'm looking forward to getting them more actually. It's tough opposition again. These next three are tough opposition. Big test.
Well, as pre-season. Always, we'll have to remember it is pre-season, and pre-season is about fitness, game time, and that's it.
Yeah.
Results mean absolutely nothing, even though we beat Burnley 42
1 or something.
square.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It has been a pleasure as always. If you do want to become a member, you can do so for just $2.99 a month. You do get extra content and bonus features, and there will be a lot more this season. A few more people coming onto the channel as well. In talks with a couple of people. Daryl is recording a very special podcast tonight, but we're not giving you any more information on that one just yet. Also a little podcast crossover as well.
Yeah.
So there will be a popular voice from another Newcastle United podcast joining Daryl and our special guest. Thanks very much. See you later. Watch what you're doing. Bye.
Ciao.